Okay, picture this. You're sitting in a cozy local restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Smells good.
Totally. The aroma is great, service is fine, you're just about to enjoy a really nice meal. You're thinking about, I don't know, the chef, the ingredients.
Yeah, the atmosphere.
Exactly. But what you're probably not thinking about are those complex, unseen systems.
The ones working behind the scenes to make sure every bite is actually safe.
Right. That unseen shield of safety.
It is remarkably easy to take it for granted, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, well, the reality is a lot can go wrong.
And when it does.
The implications can be quite serious.
Yeah, that's a critical point. And it's exactly what we're diving into today. Our deep dive takes us behind the scenes into a real-world food safety audit. Our source material is this case study, Restaurant Food Safety Audit, a case study in noncompliance. It goes into detail about an internal audit at a place called Turkey Restaurant in Istanbul.
Right. And our mission here really is to unpack what it actually takes to ensure food safety. What can go sideways when those systems fail. And, what the findings of a proper food safety management system audit and FSMS audit, what they really reveal.
Specifically against the ISO 22000 standard, the 2018 version.
That's the one. And you might be surprised by some of the specifics here, the nonconformities they found.
Okay, let's unpack it then. First, maybe set the stage a bit. Tell us about this restaurant.
Sure. So the subject is Turkey Restaurant, Istanbul. Food service, about 15 employees.
Okay, so not huge, but not tiny either.
Right. And this wasn't some, surprise government inspection. It was an internal audit, first party.
Done by their own FSMS auditor, Aisha on July 12, 2025.
Exactly. And the scope was pretty broad. The whole FSMS kitchen, storage, prep, serving, the works.
And the objective?
Well, the objective was clear. Assess compliance with that ISO 22000 standard. Looking at hazard control, hygiene, documentation, food handling, the core stuff.
And the immediate result? You hinted it was serious.
It was stark. The audit result was failed.
Failed. Wow.
Yeah. And the reason given was significant nonconformities and major gaps.
Right.
That tells you straight away this wasn't just a few minor issues.
Definitely sets the stage. Okay, let's get into those major nonconformities, the real red flags. What was first on the list? What about the people, the staff?
Well, the first major one hit right at confidence.
Yeah.
Clause 7.2 for those following the standard. There was basically no evidence of HACCP, that's hazard analysis and critical control points, or even general FSMS training for the kitchen staff.
No evidence at all.
None documented. And here's the kicker. The auditor noted that during an interview, the chef couldn't even explain what a CCP, a critical control point, or an OPRP operational prerequisite program was.
Wait, the chef didn't know what a CCP was?
Correct. These are absolutely foundational concepts in food safety.
Wow. That's more than just a gap.
It really is. It points to a systemic failure in making sure the people actually handling the food understand the basic principles. It's like a crack in the foundation.
And you can imagine how that lack of fundamental knowledge would just ripple through everything they do in the kitchen.
Exactly.
So beyond the staff training, what about the physical environment, like pest control, basic stuff?
Right. So moving on to prerequisite programs, PRPs, under Clause 8.2, another major nonconformity. The pest control contract for the restaurant, it expired.
Expired?
Yeah, back in March 2025, so months before the audit in July. And worse, no monitoring records available at all.
So no contract, no idea if pests were even being monitored.
Precisely. It's not just, oh dear, there might be pests. It's a total breakdown of a critical barrier against contamination. It shows, frankly, neglect.
Yeah, neglect of the basic systems needed before you even start cooking. Okay, this is painting a picture. But you mentioned something about records earlier that sounded particularly alarming.
Yes. This one is particularly concerning.
Yeah.
Clause 8.5.2, CCP monitoring. The audit found temperature logs for hot food holding. They weren't just incomplete, they were falsified.
Falsified, you mean made up?
Made up. Yeah. For the past 2 weeks leading up to the audit. And to compound that, the calibration certificate for the thermometer they supposedly used
Let me guess.
expired since May 2025.
Unbelievable. So the records were fake, and the tool used to create potentially real records wasn't even verified.
Exactly. This goes way beyond just, sloppy paperwork. Falsification implies a deliberate attempt to deceive.
It suggests a breakdown of integrity, really, a culture issue.
Absolutely. It suggests compliance is just a show, which puts diners at direct risk. That's serious.
Truly alarming. Okay, so if their own monitoring was compromised, what about their internal checking process, like their own audits?
Another major failure there. Clause 9.2, internal audit. Their last internal audit was conducted over 14 months ago.
Over a year.
Yeah, which violated their own internal procedure. They were supposed to do them annually.
So they weren't even following their own rules.
Right, and internal audits are crucial. They're like your internal early warning system. Skipping them, it's like driving with the check engine light covered up.
Problems just build up unseen until something major happens.
Exactly. A huge missed opportunity to catch things earlier.
And speaking of things building up, the audit mentioned recurring issues, right? Things that kept happening.
Yes, that was under Clause 10.2, corrective actions, another major. The report specifically highlighted dirty cutting boards. This wasn't new. It had been noted in 3 previous inspections.
3 times.
And despite being flagged repeatedly, no proper root cause analysis was ever done.
So they never figured out why the cutting boards kept being dirty.
Apparently not. Or at least they didn't document trying to fix the root cause. They were just, cleaning the boards again maybe, but not fixing the reason they were getting dirty or staying dirty.
That's classic symptom treatment, isn't it? Not actually solving the problem.
Precisely. It shows a systemic failure to learn, to improve, to actually use the findings from previous checks. You just keep applying Band-Aids.
These procedural failures are bad enough, but they become really concrete when you look at what the auditor physically saw during the site visit. What were some of those direct observations?
Yeah, the visual evidence really hits home. The auditor saw some fundamental errors, one critical one. Raw chicken stored directly above cooked rice in the fridge.
Oh, wow. Food safety 101, right?
Right.
Cross-contamination central.
Absolutely. Raw poultry drips, potentially carrying bacteria right onto ready-to-eat food. Basic, dangerous mistake.
And what else?
Something almost comically basic, but seriously problematic. The hand-washing sink in the kitchen was blocked.
Blocked? By what?
By a mop bucket.
You're kidding. A mop bucket blocking the hand wash sink.
Not kidding. So how are staff supposed to wash their hands properly? Which is like the cornerstone of hygiene if they can't even get to the sink easily.
It's hard to imagine something more fundamental being ignored.
Exactly. These aren't complex, high-level issues. They're ground-level, non-negotiable basics. And when those are missed, it tells you a lot about the overall attention to detail.
Okay, so the findings paint a really grim picture of what went wrong. But the really crucial question, maybe the harder one, is why? Why did all these failures happen? What were the root causes behind the nonconformities?
That's the key question. The audit did try to identify those. Primarily, there was a clear lack of structured FSMS awareness and training. It wasn't just the chef. It was systemic.
Safety just wasn't baked into how they worked day to day.
Seems like it. We also saw a definite absence of accountability for record keeping and daily monitoring. These critical tasks weren't being consistently overseen or enforced, which, well, it led to gaps in even that falsification we talked about.
No one was checking the checkers, essentially.
Or checking the logs, period. The audit also pointed to an over-reliance on informal communication, like word-of-mouth instructions instead of documented standard procedures.
Which leaves way too much room for error for things getting missed or misunderstood.
Exactly. And maybe underpinning a lot of this, no dedicated FSMS coordinator was formally appointed.
So no single person whose job it was to own the food safety system.
Right. No dedicated oversight, no champion for food safety. And without that, these vital processes often just fall by the wayside when things get busy.
Okay, so given how severe all this was, the failed audit, the root causes, what was the way forward? What did the audit actually recommend they do?
Well, the good news is the audit didn't just say you failed. It laid out a pretty clear roadmap for improvement. Specific recommendations.
Like what?
First, addressing that competence gap. Full FSMS and HACCP training for all employees within 30 days. Mandatory.
Okay, urgent training. Makes sense.
Then, tackling the pest control issue. Immediate renewal of that contract. And start weekly documented monitoring. No more gaps.
You get the professionals back in and track it properly.
Right, got it. For the record-keeping mess, especially temperature logs. Implement strict record review. They even suggested maybe using digital logging, like mobile temperature probes.
To make falsification harder and improve accuracy.
Exactly. And to fix that lack of oversight, formally appoint a dedicated FSMS champion. Someone accountable.
Give it an owner.
Right. They also needed to review and update all their standard operating procedures, SOPs, especially for basics like hand washing and cleaning, and, crucially, have staff sign off to show they've read and understood them.
Build that accountability in. These all sound like solid, actionable steps.
They are. And one more thing, to boost their preparedness for, worst-case scenarios, they recommended conducting a food recall mock drill within 60 days.
Test their emergency response?
And finally, the follow-up. Because the audit was a fail, a re-audit was recommended within 45 days after they confirmed closure of all those major nonconformities.
So prove you fixed the big stuff, then we'll come back and check again soon.
That's the idea. It's a comprehensive plan. Shows that even with severe findings, there's a path back. But it requires real commitment.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Turkey restaurants' failed food safety audit, it's just remarkably clear how many critical layers there are, layers we often don't see.
Absolutely. Robust food safety management isn't just, wiping down counters.
It's formal training, consistent records, strict procedures, clear accountability. It's a whole system.
And these aren't just abstract ideas for restaurants. They're vital for public health. For all of us.
Indeed. This case really shines a light on how those robust systems, backed by actual integrity and a commitment to improve, are just essential.
It's not enough to have a policy written down somewhere. It has to be lived every day, a genuine commitment.
Which brings us to a final thought, maybe something for you, the listener, to consider. The next time you dine out, beyond the delicious food on the plate, what hidden systems do you think are truly at work?
Are they ensuring your safety? Or perhaps, are they failing, like we saw in this case?
It's worth thinking about those intricate systems that often silently are supposed to protect us, not just with food, but in many parts of our lives. We encourage you to stay curious about them.